Everybody, sorry, I was looking down. I was turning my fuse on to heat. Happy Friday, everybody. Wait a minute for everything to catch up. Make sure we're going good here. Hope everyone's had a great week and get things going. It's been a busy week. First week of summer here, basically here, full week of summer. I'm going to shout out to my friend Lori and say, happy retirement. Woohoo. When are we getting together for me to make you pie? Hi, Miss Luann. How are you doing? But that's it. We are doing designer's choice this week with the space release. My design team stuff might be here tomorrow, which of course couldn't come today, but I'm guessing on Monday is when it will get here. Hi, Mama. Hi, Miss Penny. I am gonna shout out that there's a little bit of retired cardstock for sale on the website. Once it's gone, like aubergine, things like that. There is a specialty cardstock sale going on the website where things that are like washi tape or washi sheets and acetates there on sale, and when they're gone, they're gone. Hi, Kate. Hi, Cindy. I have everything ready to go to show you foiling. Hi, Brandon. And then this week's freebie is, I'm going to shoot down to my desk right away. Let's switch around here. This week's freebie is this piece, I think it's a $60 order. Is that correct? Am I right, Penny? I'm really bad at that type of thing. I should know. I'm trying to find my Brutus Monroe page here. So I can pull it up. I forgot to pull it up. And then, of course, you get your incentive stamp that's changed. If you get an order of $60, it's been warm here, so that's why things are. Yes, 60. I'm not exactly sure when you get it at. If it's a $60 order. Hope that's right. $50 order. Thank you. I should have checked. I forgot. So I'm going to put that off to the side here. And we're going to get started. Okay. I don't want that chroma glaze out. We are going to play. I have a variety of items here. I'm going to make 2 cards tonight, 2 different ways. For sure, 2 cards tonight. The only reason I have everything linked below for the most part. I added a couple things the last minute that I did not add to the description box, but I am using the sentiments from the stars in the sky. I don't know if we're going to use this stamp, but we might. Thank you. $50 for the weekly freebie, $60 for the incentive stamp. Correct. We have the Celestial Moons paper pad, which is going to coordinate with our Blue Jean card base. We are going to use, I have not got to use this up and away stencil yet, slimline stencil. I created a couple masks already using Post-it note tape because I couldn't find my masking paper. That's going to be on my list for this weekend. And I don't know which other one of these stencils I'm going to use yet for sure. So I have the Celestial Circle and the A Star is Born Circle for our second card. And then I've got the Solar System, which we're going to heat emboss. I don't know if we're going to use the creative cards. And I have some sparkle overlays. I believe I did confetti. I believe, down below. I don't remember. I might have done sequins, but any of the sparkle overlays, I believe there's still some sparkle overlay overstock on sale. I'm not 100% sure. And then I have some of the acetate, 2 packs of it. I just hit my camera. And we're going to foil this tonight. Cindy was asking about it during the Power Acting Live today, and I said I would use one tonight because it will work beautifully with our card project. So let's get started. I'm going to foil first. Like I said, my fuse is heating up on the side here. When you get your acetate, I'm going to take it out of my packaging because I'll put it in with the other one. If I get multiple, I put them in the same packaging. You get a sheet of acetate, 2 sheets of acetate with 4 patterns. If you can see the patterns there. And this is foilable. And then you get a backer sheet that has these beautiful, this one has beautiful sky scenes with stars. And then it kind of talks to you about what you can do with the acetate layer. You can layer them together separately. So you can use this as well, and you can cut that down to A2 card panels. Excuse me. I don't know for sure. I think I am going to use just the star one tonight because my other card is going to have the solar planets on it and they're going to be kind of similar. So I want to do this one. So I'm going to cut it in half first. Kind of, sorry, make sure I'm on camera here. You can kind of line it up there and see. And then I'm going to cut it in half the other way, which is at like 4 1/4, 5 1/2. Okay, so there's our first one. And then I'm going to grab my foil. I just had it. Now, where did I put it? Anybody see where I set the foil down at? Here it is. I grabbed gold, but I thought instead, because I'm going to use gilded on my other, I grabbed a couple of our other deco foils. I have the pewter and the copper. And I think I'm going to do one with the pewter ripples. You may not necessarily see the pattern, but I wanted the color. And I don't know if I have any silver foil right now. So I decided to grab one of those instead of the gold. And then I have I don't know where my carrier sheet is right now. So I am going to use a piece of parchment paper. And of course, I can feel the print is on this side. So I know that's the side that needs to go touch the foil. Let me grab my scissors here. We're going to cut this down. This might not be the right scissors for that. Hold, please. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit because then I can save that piece for something else. So put that in my carrier sheet, which in my case this time is my parchment paper. And I have my fuse heated up to 6 to 4, which is what I like to use it at. That's, I think what Christopher uses that, and we're just going to go ahead and feed it through. So I'm super excited. It's in Gothenburg here. It's garage sale weekend. So I am going garage sailing. However, usually I go garage sailing to find stuffed animals for my dog, but I hit 2 garage sales, one on Thursday at lunchtime and one yesterday. One on Wednesday at lunchtime and then one yesterday, and got him plenty of stuffed animals. So he does not need any more stuffed animals. Try to cover up some of that so that's not so shiny in your eyes right there. Okay, that's better. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to flip it and I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to put it through one more time just because I like to foil twice. I do need to find my carrier sheets or see if I can order some new ones when they come back in stock. I'm not sure if they're in stock right now. But parchment paper works. You just have to be slow, and you can also use lightweight copy paper. But I wanted to foil right away because I want to turn off my foiling machine and unplug it because I do not want my heat embossing and my foil together on the same plugged in at the same time. So, all right. Actually, I better leave it on, make sure I foiled it the right direction. Looks like I did. All right, are you ready for the peel and reveal? I can see I already did, so I can shut this off. Very carefully. We're gonna let it cool for just a minute while I unplug it. All right, all right. Are you ready? Cindy here, this is for you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Peel that. Look at how pretty that is. Now, like I said, you can see when I twist it, because I use the pewter ripple, when you look at it straight on, it may not look foiled because it's more of a pewter color, which is a darker color, but you can see it like this, and it adds that fun shine. Okay, so we've got that. Now we need to make card base, and I just realized I needed to make a long card base, and I didn't do that. Thank you. So let me see if I have a cutter that will work. All right. Let's see if I replaced my blade in this, so let me see if this is going to work. So I need it to be 4.5 or 4 1/4, okay? Which is great because then I can have 2 cards out of this. So I'm lining up very carefully, making sure it's straight because not all mills. Oh, make sure that's 4 1/4. I haven't used this measurement in a while. Okay. This should be 4 1/4. Okay, just want to make sure because I haven't used this cutter in a while. Oops. All right. Well, that's not too bad. I replaced them. Thanks, Cindy. I just replaced. That one doesn't look so good. I need a new longer cutter. I have a really nice. Oh, earthquake. That's why I don't use my big cutters. Hold, please, for just a second. Sorry, I'm muted for just a second because Fletch was being loud downstairs. I apologize for that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. There was a dog walking by, and heaven forbid a dog walk past our house. 5 1/4, right? By 5 1/2, right? I'm just making sure I'm kind of flustered now. 5 1/2 is halfway. Okay. This blue jean cardstock is so pretty. We're going to make a see-through card tonight, 2 of them. So there's our first one. We're going to do them both at the same time, so we're ready to go. But we're going to do them with similar products. And it's funny because I'm going to use that reach for the stars. There's a sentiment with that on there or whatever. And I just keep saying the reach for the stars in my head. Oh, I am going to be making a see-through card tonight using both acetate and some acetate. One is foiled and one we're going to heat embossed. But we're just kind of getting started. All I did so far was heat emboss my acetate with some pewter ripples, which the pewter ripples is a beautiful pattern, but you don't always see the ripples on this fine design. But I wanted a different color because when you see it up against that, look at how pretty that is. And then the acetate we're going to heat emboss. But I was just making my card bases, which are top folding A2 card bases. And my paper trimmer is my long paper trimmer is very dull. So I had to trim up. All right. So now what I got to do for my card base is I'm going to take this and we're going to trim down. I'm going to move it to the edge, right? I'm going to move it over 1 inch. Okay. And I'm going to trim off. So now I have a card. Okay, so there's one. We're going to do that with both of these. And this one, for a little bit of a difference, we're going to go 1 1/4 inch. Okay, so we have a little bit thicker top so you can see a difference because you can really do this at any. So I lined up my 1 inch and then my score line is at 1 1/4. Okay, and then we can use these. We're going to use these pieces as well. Okay. So what we're going to do for our first card is we're going to layer this just on here like this. But we don't want it necessarily to be so that when you see it, it looks ugly, if you know, per se. So I'm going to cut a 1-inch square down and we're going to cover that on the other side. Thank you very much, you guys. So the first thing we're going to do is put some tape runner on here. You could use double-sided adhesive. You know, nobody's going to see the acetate. You could use liquid glue. And then I just need to make sure my foiled side is up. There's the foiled side. I'm going to stick that in. And I'm going to look, because sometimes your acetate piece can't print all the way to the edge. So I'm going to use this side up, because that is the side that doesn't have it all the way to the edge. And I'm just going to line it up with the bottom of my card, because it's okay if it's not up at the top. And then we'll fold this down. And there you've got the basics of our card. But of course, that ain't going to work, right? It's not going to work. So not that I necessarily care for sure if it stands upright, but we do want it to kind of stand upright. So what we're going to do is take this. And the first thing I'm going to do is trim down 1 inch. I'm going to trim off. Actually, I'm going to trim off just a little bit so I have equal numbers. I trimmed up 1/4 inch. So I'm going to trim off 1 inch, or just slightly under 1 inch. Just slightly under, because then that can go in here and cover this so we don't see that ugliness. Okay? And then this piece is at 3 inches. I'm going to cut it right in half at 1.5 inches. And that is going to go down here at the bottom, just like this. And then we'll have, oh, I have gold on my desk somewhere. Don't know where that came from. Interesting. That's okay, it wiped off. But that is going to give us our card base. And of course, we're going to see through, we're going to put something on the inside so you can see it. So let's get this down. I'm going to put my tape down on here. We're going to also decorate this with some of that beautiful pattern paper. If you haven't checked out the June release, it is live now. It is the simple sentimental. We're going back to basics. So that's a beautiful sentiment set. I know during the live, there was only, I think I heard a couple of the inspiration boxes left, which has the die set included. There is a die set that is available only in the box for right now, along with the 6x8 stamp set. So that alone is worth it. I don't have it to show you right now, but if my order comes in over the weekend, I will do an unboxing video and get that uploaded on my channel. So then I'm going to go ahead and just put this down, and I'm going to line it up the best that I can. It'll be pretty close. And then we're going to also tape this one down at the top. Now, I haven't made one of these in a long time, so this is the, you might, if this cardstock is not, you know, I'm on glass surface, so hopefully it'll stand up okay for me, but you could use a thicker card base if you wanted. I like our cardstock. So it will kind of stand up, but it's still a little on the flimsy side right now because it's just, there's not enough on it. See, so we need to add a little bit more. But I'm okay with that because it's not about that. It's about giving this beautiful card. Look at how beautiful, look at how pretty that is. So right now it's really heavy, and this is not, yep, see, here, it's standing up, but I'm on glass too, remember, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do first is let's decorate it. Then I'm gonna show you the inside of the card. We're gonna do the inside of the card. And I think I want to use, I'm gonna use this paper right here because I think it's just really, really, really pretty. And I need a 1 inch, not quite a 1 inch. Let's go 3/4 of an inch. So I'm starting at, why is this not? And it's directional, so I need to make sure I'm cutting it the right way. I must have used part of this already. So since I'm at 5.5, I must have taken 1 inch off of this already, and I need an inch. That would go down to 4.5, but I'm gonna just slightly go back up 1/8 of an inch and cut that off. And then my card base is 4 1/4. So, I mean, you don't quite see that it's a moon, but I know what it is. And so I'm going to go to the 4 1/4, and then I'm going to go over a quarter of an inch. And I just eyeball it because the lines are kind of hard to see, and I just go halfway between the both. Okay, and then that's going to put that pretty card. And then, like I said, you could fit it, and you can always trim it down if you want. Okay. And then our bottom piece was 1.5 inches, right? So I'm going to go ahead and trim a little off the bottom. So I'm at 4.5 inches. So I'm going to go over to 3, which gives me 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to go up 1/4 inch. And then we need 4 1/4 again. And then, like I said, move over 1/4 inch. So if you're not, your brain doesn't like to do fractions, do the measurement that you know you need and go over like 1/4 inch. And then we've got this. So look at how pretty this is, just like this. Okay. Hi, Jamie. Happy Friday. Yes. I mean, look at how pretty this paper is, even on the blue side. I mean, ooh, we should do maybe I want to do the blue. I'm changing. Can I do the blue? I hope you're okay with it. I'm changing to the blue. Because my punch color is going to be underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and add and you could probably put some dimensionals behind this and stick it up, which would give it that little bit of lift too, but I'm going to do it flat this time. All right, let's open this up. And I'm going to turn it this way so I can see it. And I always tell me if you can line up 3 that look pretty close, your 4th side should be pretty close too. That way you can eyeball it. You don't have it to be perfect. Thank you. Hi, Cordelia. Thank you, Penny. So we're going to line up 3 sides. I'm lining up these 3 sides, the eyeball. And then, because maybe I didn't quite cut it quite perfect. And then so this is the basis of our first card. So now we need to do the inside because we call this a see-through card, right? So I am going to go ahead and take a white card base, white card panel. And then what we're going to do is take this fun. This is the up and away. And I want to look, we're going to look at this. We're going to put this on the inside. We're going to stencil it. Okay. But we're going to kind of make it, I want the cloud base part too. So there's 2 pieces to this stencil, and I have not ink blended this yet. So we're going to ink blend. I'm going to ink blend the background first. And I'm going to grab breakup. No, I don't want breakup blue. We're going to grab Crybaby. Okay. And actually, let's get our stick and stay mat out. I keep that, you guys know, I keep that on my desk all the time. I'm going to turn it kind of at an angle because it's a little easier for me. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my Crybaby. Put the lid here so you guys can see what it is. Top off just a little bit. And we're just going to start ink blending it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm okay with it not being perfect because it is a sky. There could be clouds. I'm going to go through the whole thing because I'm going to cut it down too. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. And what I'm going to do for lining this up, get my little, I did grab mask. I guess I didn't need to mask everything like I thought I did. But what we're going to do is I'm going to line this up and I'm going to put a piece, what I'm going to do to kind of blend how I want it. I'm going to put this up just a little bit higher. take a piece of this tape, which is just pink tape, you know, anything works, washi tape. And you might not be able to see it, but I'm going to tape up at the top. Let's see. I mean, kind of quickly see my camera. So I'm just taping at the top. That's going to tell me where I need to line up my card, my stencil, since I'm doing not a slimline stencil. And we're just going to shrink this down a little bit. So all I'm going to do is kind of, yeah, we're going to leave that. I'm not going to do blue for this. I'm thinking I want to do, I'm going to do some shooting star. I don't know. I feel like I need a pop of color. I'm just going to go ahead and ink blend it all over for the color. And yeah, there's a little green showing up right there. I'm okay with that. Oops, it moved just a hair. I didn't stick it down enough to my stick and stay matte because it's not really here. It needs to be touched up here. It's fine. All right, and then I think for a little bit of extra something, I'm gonna grab the fruit cake. And just add a little bit of that at the bottom. And up the sides. And then we're going to take this off. Are you ready? Hi, Lynn. Because we still need this. We need that for the jet yet. And then we see how we've got this. It's kind of coming up through the air. We're going to go ahead and line this back up just like I said. But I also can use these line up. See, here, let me see. These line up. If you line up your jet, these line up, right, kind of to make a separate cloud area. Oh, did I have it backwards here? There we go. So do you see they line up where those little cloudy pieces go. So if I line this back up just right like that, it should be pretty close to what I had up there. And I'm actually going to put my magnet down up there too. And then I can go ahead and grab my cutie pie. Is that what this is? It's a new one called fruit cake. And I'm going to go in and add some more blooms. More pretty cloud color things here. Now, does anyone have a preference to our jet and what color it should be? Okay. All right, here's the reveal. Oh, look at how fun that is. Now I'm going to line it back up because I had my jet, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball in where the jet line is. I'm going to stick my magnet down on top just because I want to make sure it stays. I'm going to get my yellow in there, make sure my line is really good, and I'm going to do a little bit of that fruitcake. Let's just peek. I can pull apart and see and peek. Oh, yeah. And I can do a little ink blending there. Okay. Anyone care? Anyone have a say on what color jet we should have? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I am leaning towards I'm going to lean towards, you guys know, purple. Pompous and 100% juice. Okay, we're going with purple. I spoke. I chose. So I'm going to grab, I've got some new brushes, new blending brushes here that I have not inked up yet. And we're going to go in and we're going to, this is the Pompous. Perfect. Oh, dark blue or gold. Oh, I already chose. I'm sorry. I already chose. I was too late. Darn delay. And then we're going to line this guy back up. Yeah, because it matches, but I was thinking a pop of color would be fun. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a different brush here because I have a darker purple for this 100% grape. Go in here like that. And we can use the blue and gold on the next card. And there we go. All right. And then I did, like I said, I have these masks created that I could go in, and I was going to stamp over this originally, but I changed my mind because I'm using the acetate, but I could go back and I can make that a little darker right around where he is. So there's a little bit of shy. I grabbed a different color, and I'm just going to kind of blend out here a little bit. And that ink is a little wet, so there. Okay, we need a little bit more blue right in here. Let's mask these guys off. I don't want too much. I don't want too much. I didn't do the whole thing. Where's my other one? Too much. We don't want too much greenness. Right there. Okay, there we go. Okay. So that's our little guy. You could heat emboss that. You could put some glitter glaze. We have that beautiful like gunmetal glitter glaze or galaxy glitter glaze and just make it glittery. So we've got our fun little trim. So now we're going to cut it down slightly because I do want to have the blue edges around the edges. So we'll cut down. I'm going to cut down a little bit off each side. A little teeny tiny bit off the bottom, but more off the top. And then this side, so it's at like 4 and yep, a tiny bit there. And then we're going to come down here and just trim off a little bit more at the top. Okay, now we'll look at that and see what it looks like. And then for our see-through card, this is what we have. So I'm going to put this in there, and then when we put this over the top, it looks like that. And of course, we need a sentiment. So now you could do this so that you could trim it down a little bit more so you don't see the puffs, that it's like this. You see how you can see a little bit of the yellow there? If you wanted to trim it so that it was a little bit less on the bottom, more blue at the top. But I'm okay with that puff being there. So we're going to do that, but I need a sentiment. And I'm going to stick my sentiment down here, but we are going to stick this in first. So let's do that. I may have to grab a different stamp set that I didn't use before on my next card, just for purposes of the sentiment when I decide what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Here we go. So we've got this fun see-through card. Now we need a sentiment. So let's grab our Misty Mini. I'm just going to grab the Mini Misty tonight. Thank you. I think it's fun. And you could do anything, a birthday, you could do, this could be a graduation card because it could be Reach for the Stars, all that stuff. I'm going to use that sentiment from you could also, like I said, heat emboss. See, like this would be perfect. You could do the center of this stamp on some acetate. We can do that, but that's not the stamp I'm going, well, I suppose I could. And I'm going to use the Always Reach for the Stars. That's the sentiment I'm going to do. And actually, I think I'm going to put it up at the top because then it's kind of hidden. See, it's going to be hidden by our top piece. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of that purple. Ooh, that does not look straight, does it? Okay, let's try that again. That looks a little better. Okay, and I'm just going to use a little bit of that 100% grape. Always reach for the stars. And there you go. So here's card number 1. Now I'm going to take the same concept, but we're going to change it up with different parts in case you decide you don't want a foil, because not everyone is a foiler. We may even use the same sentiment, so I might just leave that in there for right now. I better wipe it off though. Let's change it up, zhuzh it up just a little bit. We'll do the couple of changes I talked about. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I have some heat resistant acetate. I did look, this was in stock. I did forget to add it to my links down below, but I did add it to my Candi. If you type Candi Live in Brutus Monroe, you will find my collection for tonight. I did want to say, I forgot to mention that all of the links that I shared at the beginning and in the description box are affiliate links, which just means if you place an order using one of those, I get a small kickback. Thank you. So this is where you could use the solar system. And you also, like I said, we could use this one. But I think I want to start. We'll do both, okay? We'll do both tonight. And then we'll decide which one we like better. So I'm going to grab the solar system because I'm in love with this stamp set, this 6x6. You could use this. You could use any stamp set you want. You could use the star one that came with this background or this release. Any background would really work. Okay, it might stick to my, okay, no, my acetate did not stick. Now, because I'm going to use acetate, I am going to do a little anti-static powder tool just to be safe. I'm not going to worry about a terrible amount, but just to hope, because it's outer space. It's outer space. Now, where did I put my embossing ink? I rearranged everything last weekend. There it is. Okay, so we got our embossing ink. And this is acetate, so it's going to be kind of hard to see. And I'm not sure how inky this ink pad is, so I may have to do this a couple times. I'm going to move it up to get that magnet out of my way. You could do this with, I'm going to use gilded this time. Silver would be fabulous, sterling, but I don't know. Gilded's calling my name tonight. I haven't used it. I used sterling before, but I want to do gilded tonight. We're going to make it work, whatever it was. If it's not perfect, because like I said, this is a clear embossing, it's going to be hard to see it. All right, get my perfect press from Blue Sparkle. All right, now what I'm going to do is before I take it off, I'm going to lift this up. So I'm going to see it, look for it myself to see if I can see. And I'm just kind of going in the light, and you guys won't be able to see it too much. You can kind of see the pattern. I'm just checking. It looks pretty good. I'm going to just kind of tap my fingers down on everything. And this will be the test. Because it's acetate, I can't even see it on my stick and stay mat. I'm okay with pulling it from the top because remember, we're going to cover that up a little bit. And I'm going to throw this back inside just to keep my stick and stay mat a little cleaner. Here is the test. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, mine was just creating a fuss downstairs. So I don't care if I touch the top so much. Oh my goodness. This just went everywhere. I don't think I used enough anti-static powder tool. So it's going to be a mess. Okay, so I'm going to have to shake this off camera. So I have a fan going too, so that's not helping. So I'm going to tap it off like this. Yeah, it's all over right here. Now I'm going to go over my garbage and kind of flick it because that's going to be the easiest place for me to do it without making a huge mess. So excuse me a second. So I flip it upside down. I flicked it with my nail. That helped. That made it better. And then I'm going to grab my handy dandy Swiffer cloth that I have sitting right here and try to get a bunch of that up before, because it's all over my stick and stay mat. So I'm going to have to give that a bath tonight. That's okay. I don't know why I did that. All right. So I am going to try to protect my stick and stay mat because I have heat stuff on there now with my silicone mat here. And now for the magic. Now, it's not perfect. There's going to be extra gold specks everywhere because I didn't use enough anti-static powder tool, but it is outer space and it's stars, so I'm okay with that. Especially right in the center, you'll see the pattern is not perfect. Okay, so yeah, you can see right in here, the pattern is not perfect. Let me flip this so you can see it. You can see there, I have a big spot right in the center, kind of where there's a lot. Hi, Susan. It is fun. I think it's fun. I am going to do this one more time, but we're going to try it with the other. Oh, let me just leave this here. We're going to try it with that other stencil too, or that other stamp. So I will clean this off after. Okay. We'll do one more. We're going to use that Stars in the Sky since that is the stamp stencil I'm going to use. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in this way. Now remember, we have 1 inch at the top and 2.5 inches at the bottom because this is not going to go all the way to the edges of that acetate. So what I'm going to do is turn it and do it right kind of in the center. And then we're going to modify our stamp so that our design on our project so that it works. Okay. But this time I am going to anti-static powder tool a whole lot more. Sorry if I shake the camera. There we go. And then we'll use some clear embossing powder. Oh, you're welcome. I love to foil. I just forget about it. And I don't do it enough. I have hot foiling and a press too, and I haven't done it in a long time. I love doing it. But usually when I foil, I go on a rampage and I just foil a lot. And then I have so much stuff to foil and I don't use it. But I spent most of last weekend rearranging and cleaning my craft room. I'm getting ready for to film a video of my organization because people have asked me for that. I have found the perfect bins for my craft room to fit in my calyx unit, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more of the one and 4 and 4 of the other that I'm using, and my craft room will be complete. And I've been super excited because the stuff that I have found is working perfectly. Thank you. Oh, that's okay. No problem. Thank you very much. Cindy, I know you can't hear me, but maybe if you watch the replay. I understand having company. And like I said, it's sticking a little bit to the acetate. You can see it sticking there. I'm trying to be careful and not shake it too much over my desk. I'm going to tap this off on my legs so it's not on my stick and stay mat. And then I'm going to go ahead and go over my garbage again and I'm going to flick it with my finger. Okay. Not a perfect situation, especially like I said, when I've got a fan going to keep myself cool. I literally cleaned my whole desk off last weekend and got all of the embossing powder off of it. Okay. Oh, well, that'll be tomorrow's chore. All right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to flick it. I flicked it, flicking it several times this time. It's got a little bit down here, so I'm going to flick it a little bit more. And then I'm going to actually go. It's not perfect. So what I'm going to do is take a thing here and I'm just going to kind of hit it that bigger area. I need a color underneath so I can see what I'm doing. I'm not going to worry about this stuff too much up there and down here, but I'm not going to take the time and make it perfect. I'm just going to hit a few areas here and there and blow on it, blow some of that off. Actually, some of it might even be underneath. Yeah, it is. Some of it's underneath even. Okay, that works for me. So then we're going to heat set this one. And our acetate works really well. It doesn't work. I mean, I'm sure you can warp it if you keep the heat gun, but because it's acetate, you should be able to heat it fairly quickly and move it around enough that it's still got some flex on it. I'm okay with that because we can add some flex to the back of our card. So I'm just going to kind of hit it in the light, make sure there's no dull areas. Yep, there's one spot right here. Okay, so here we've got our two background patterns that will work the same way. I'm kind of maybe leaning to this one, but let's make our background first and then you guys can help me decide. I'm actually going to spritz this a little bit and see if I can wipe some of that up. And then after our live, I will take this to the sink and rinse it real good. Okay, wipe up my ink over here so I don't get it all over my fingers. All righty. So this is the one where I have to decide which stencil of those two do I want to use. We've got this one. And we've got this one. I think I'm leaning towards this one, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm leaning towards this one. And this is the one we can do in the blues and golds. Now, I do need a card panel. And I have some pre-cuts. Oops, that's a mini slim one. Here's oh, that's a all right. So I think I'm going to start with this one. And of course, because I'm using my, even though I'm using my stick and stay mat, this is the same size. So we're going to tape it down so that it doesn't move. It's not perfectly center. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use the blues and or the yellows and maybe a little gold on this one too. So I need a blending tool here and some yellows. So we got Shooting Star. And let's use Buzzkill. That's another new ink. Okay. I'm going to start with the Buzzkill. And I'm going to go ahead and use that on the moon. And actually, I'm going to use my masks that I created from last that I didn't end up using and cover this up because I do not want to. I want to do different colors. And then I think for this one, I'm going to grab just a teeny tiny bit of that fruitcake and just come around the edge. Just come around this back edge. Okay. And then I know it's not normal, the right colors. Let's see here. I'm going to cover up this section right here. We're going to cover up the star. Oops. And we're going to do the blue with this piece. So let's just kind of cover that up like that. And I'm going to go ahead and grab, not cold shoulder. Let's do midnight snack. We'll use shooting star on the next color over. And then we're going to use some gold with the next layer as well. Kind of give it a Sputnik-y. Okay, but I am going to wipe that off. Okay, I'm going to leave this and let it dry for, ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at how pretty that is. I'm going to let it, we're going to let it dry first before we do our gold though, okay? So we're going to have to do this a couple times because I'm going to heat set it and then we'll heat. So then I'm going to set this one back up. Oops, there is something on here. I'm going to make sure that's clean. And we're going to center it. Once again, I'm going to tape it down so it stays in place. Just because my thing is going to stay. And then I'm going to very, 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 very carefully, we're going to mask some of these off on the side. Because I do not want to cover up. I'm just going to use up my tape here. I think I just stuck my finger in the blue. I did. I wasn't even sure, you guys, I was going to make it tonight. I had such a headache most of the day due to the changing temperatures, but it went away. So I could be here. Okay, and instead of shooting star, I'm going to go ahead and grab Over the Moon. Over the Moon is a lighter ink. And I'm going to grab a new brush. I think I have a very light one here. Inky Fingers, yes. And I'm going to grab this Over the Moon. And we're just going to come in lightly. And I just had an idea of what else we're going to do with this. And I might grab a brush, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to wipe my brush off really good because I don't know what's on here. Excuse me if I shake. Not too bad. Because otherwise it's going to take us forever. We just need a hint because we're just going to do a hint of that moon over the. Okay. Now, it's going to be a little bit more. Sorry, stick with me. We're going to cover up our stars. Now, this is a messy desk tonight. Make sure my stars are all covered up because we're doing multiple layers. All right, and then I could just use my little brush here. I don't have to worry about too much masking. We're going to add the Midnight Snack with the circles. And then we're going to get our gold in here. And like I said, I had an idea. We're going to do one more thing at the end to make this. really stand out. Okay, I'm going to remove it first. I do too. It's fun. We got to use that. We're going to use some of that with that. All right, here's 1, 2, 3. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I mean, you could stop right there, but we're not going to. All right, let's get these out of the way. I'm going to heat set this because the Simon Hurley inks take a minute or two to dry. Okay, so where's my gold? We want to check it, make sure it's not going to stick to anything first, since we have that beautiful color on there. See, it's still sticking. It's still sticking. So that means it's still wet. And we do not want that. So I'm going to wipe the whole thing off. I mean, it would be kind of cool. You'd have little hints of, you had little hints of gold right on the edges. Perfect. But we do not want that. So I'm going to move my remote. Let's heat set this one more time. Okay, let's throw some anti-static powder tool on it this time. See if that helps. We might end up going over. I hope you're all okay with that. It won't take too long once we get started here. It's still kind of sticking, but I can make that work. That I can make work. Okay, so I'm going to add some lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of anti-static powder tool. And I could be a little bit gentler with my pour. All right, I'm going to wipe off my stencil quick. We're going to throw this guy back on with just a, and I don't know if I have a brush that will work. So I'm going to make one of these brushes for my embossing ink. It's kind of big. Hopefully it will work. I don't know where I had a finger dauber, but like I said, moved my weekend stuff over the weekend. All right. So I've got that one. That worked. I can see it. Okay. We're going to take off our tape. Trying to go a little bit faster since we're running out of time, but our card coming together won't take too long because it's the same. Okay, I do have to wipe this off. Okay. Now I'm going to back up, tape it in place. We're going to do the same thing with the stars. I could have just done this card tonight. We would have had plenty of time. That's all right. 2 cards is fun. All right. So hopefully I got to mark this one somehow that is embossing ink. Okay. Now, do I have one of those little spoons? I must have one somewhere, but that's fine. I'm going to very carefully try to just pour a little embossing ink right where I want it. So far, so good. Okay, now this is the test. We just need the tiniest little bit right there. And I'm going to try to just turn it upside down and flick it. Oh, it worked. Look at that. Just a couple of little hairs. Did your auto automatically reduce volume when it might have? I don't know if my auto did it or if the Restream does it because I'm so close. The program that I'm using to heat set. I'm going to do a little flicking just because there's a little bit on the outside edges, but I'm okay if I'm being. All right. So that looks pretty cool, you guys, right? Like that, right? Let's cover up the embossing powder before we make a mess. And we're going to heat set this. Are you ready? Here we go. Look at that. Look at how fun that is. Okay, where's our card base now? We had that at the very beginning. Here it is. So here's our card base. Okay. Now, a part of that is not going to be, this is going to go in the inside. So you're going to see all that. I am going to trim it down just a slight bit. So it kind of is matted in the middle there, okay? So we're going to trim down just a hair of each side. Just eyeballing it. I'm not going to measure. But I do want this one to match over there. So we need just a hair more. There we go. All right. So this is going to go in the center. Let's cover up the stick and stay mat before I make a mess on that. I hope my heat embossing was cool before I touched it. Oh, and of course I'm out of ink. That's fine. We're almost done tonight. And of course I don't know where my lid is. There it is. I usually check my tool, my gun, before I go live to make sure that I have glue in it. Of course my glue press is stuck tonight as well, which is making us go longer. Okay, there we go. I did not cover my glue. I usually don't have to worry about it, but it's been very warm and I should have covered my glue press up last weekend because now it's being difficult because it's dry. Fortunately, I have more glue. Just don't look at it because it's turning colors because it's not the right pin. That works. Right? Can't see it enough to eyeball it. Looks good to me. So there's our card base. Thank you. So there's our card base. Now this is our big decision. I am kind of leaning towards this one over this one. I don't know. What do you guys think? This one seems so messy because it's not perfect. But then again, I kind of like it. I think I'm going to go with this one. But this is really fun too. Put the blue on the bottom. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to go with this one. Okay. And of course, I'm out of glue. Let's see what other glues I have here that might work because my glues are all need to be like poked. Thank you, Gina. Okay. Grab my glue sticky thing here. So one thing I always forget to check before I go live, you guys. So we're going to line this up edge to edge. and cover it up. The one thing I'll do after is I will cover up the ugliness after. You guys don't need me to do that again. And then we're going to grab this piece here and I'm going to go ahead and cut. Let's see, how much do we need? About 1.5 inches again. So if I cut this at 4, then I cut it at, I'm going to do 3 this time and then 3.5 because I know that we did 1.5 inches. So I could always cut a piece after. If I have one more little thing, and then I could just grab, see, I could do this after. Okay. Ooh, I think it's too long. And they're not quite perfectly matched. So I'm going to have to trim it too. 4 1/4. Okay, 4 1/4. And I'm going to trim them so that they're the same. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, I'm going to do this one. I'm sorry, I had to. I love this one. I'm going to go ahead and add the glue, and I'll add the backside piece out after. You guys understand that part, right? And then all I really want to do is make sure it matches up at the bottom of my card base. That's the key. See how perfect, look at how great that is. You could just totally leave it like that and put a sentiment. So yeah, so I'm going to put this on, but I'll do that after. Well, I'll do that one right now. I'll just do them right now. I'm here. If I don't add enough glue, I can add some glue after. We're here. Let's just do it. Now, another thing you could do to change this up just a little bit, and I'm just going to do this right here to kind of cover up. Ooh, I didn't cut that one down. That's okay. I can cut it off. Just to cover up where the glue was. I can just trim the side of it. Come on. Is you could have done some tone on tone stamping, but this is where I was talking about how we could now go in and we can, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut up, and I'm going to use this side this time. So I need 1 inch. I'm going to do 1 inch. Let's cut it to 4, and I'm going to do, the top was 1.5 inches. So let's trim a little bit off the bottom. I'm going to do 1 1/4 inches. And then the bottom was 1.5 inches. So I'm going to do 1 inch. And 1/4 there too. And they're both 1.5 inches. Yep. Sorry about that. So let's just see what it looks like. That might have been bigger than that. I got this one. And that one's too small. Let's try this one. Yeah. We'll do it this way. Because then the pattern looks like it matches. Look at how fun that is. But to change it up just a little bit this time, I'm going to go ahead and take this, my foam tape. And I'm going to pop up my pattern paper. And I'm going to skip a sentiment for now. Because I don't know what I want to do. You guys, air conditioning is the best. It was warm in here last night. I didn't know if I would tonight. Last night, tonight, I did not know if I was going to make it through my life. You could totally add some sparkly stars, some things like that. Let's see, we'll make sure we got this going the right way. There's a Fletch hair. I'm going to pop that up. I have one more thing I'm going to add to this card. And that is, we're going to take our stamp set. And I thought we were going to use some of this overlay. I'm going to grab this overlay. This is the right. It's just going to fit me. Just going to fit me. And I'm going to trace it. Now, if you have a die, you could match a die. I'm not going to go that fast and go look for my dies. I'm going to go ahead and just quick cut this out with my Producst Monroe scissors. Do you guys see the mess on my desk? Holy cow. Look at this area. Because the sparkle overlay will die cut beautifully. We're just going to add a little bit of something else. Now, you wouldn't have to do all of these steps. You could do part of these steps. You could do none of these steps. You could also do this with vellum. I did not cut that quite. It's not quite the perfect center circle, but it'll be fine. And I'm going to peel this off. Peel this up in the middle. And very carefully layer this over our centerpiece. I hit my mouse. Oh yeah, no, not if your own pets. So there we go, you guys. Look at how fun that is. So I hope you check it out while the supplies is in here. Here are our two cards tonight. See-through cards, one with heat emboss, one with so this is a little bit thicker acetate. Now, of course, I'm still on plate paper, so here. This is a thicker acetate, so that's why it stands up a little bit better than this acetate. But they both stand up. So you could add any kind of sentiment to this you want. I did not. Now, obviously, I can't write over this, but I can leave a message in here, or you could always put something on the back and put your message on the back. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget that this week's freebie with a $50 order is this tape dispenser, and $60 is the new incentive stamp. And check out the sales while they're in stock of the specialty papers, because when they're gone, they're gone. And the overstock for the overlay, there is some retired cardstock. Some of my favorite retired cardstocks are being retired. The old ones, like, so scoop those up. I mean, I love the new stuff too, but aubergine is my favorite color. I may have a couple packages. So I thank you guys all so much for joining me tonight. I have, let me pop so I can see your faces. I want you guys to have a great weekend, and I will see you guys all next weekend, and we will have the new release to play with. So have a great night. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody.